What is up, guys? Welcome back to our Red Bull Road to Glory series here for round 3 at Imola. Now, this is a track which historically I like to think that I'm pretty quick at, so we have that under our belt, and of course scoring our first points with a P9 in Miami last time out is a very, very good result. It looks like some rain actually forecast for the race. So I'm going to go ahead and jump and start my practice programs, and I'll see you guys in qualifying. We are in the car after practice. I nailed my simulations, so I'm actually really excited to jump into this. I've got my setup all optimized and how I like it, so I'm going to head straight out for my first qualifying lap. Alright, well, here I am at the end of my out lap, just trying to get the tires where I need them, and I think they're just about in that window where they work the best and give you the most grip. This car has great straight line speed. Obviously, whatever issues we were suffering in Australia, absolute tractor that weekend down the straights, but seem to be fixed here. We've got a lot of downforce. Just gonna head through this high-speed set of corners here. Very easy to dip a wheel onto the gravel there at the exit. Just gonna go a little wide through that corner. Speed corner. Down in towards Acqua Minerale. Brake a little later. Bump over the curbs there. Don't want to go wide there as we head up the hill now towards Variante Alta. Not the best corner to make moves at, but it is possible. Maybe with a little bit of wheel banging. And down towards the penultimate corner. I think this is a pretty good lap if I can nail this here. Don't want to go wide. Just using all the track I can. Open the DRS. And that puts me P6 ahead of Bottas and Magnussen. So it's about where I expected to be. We got to see what the other cars do, but it's about where what kind of lap time I wanted. A 16.9. I was assuming I would set a 17. So here at the end of Q1, I wasn't able to improve, and I just get knocked out by Pierre Gasly. That is so frustrating. Both Haas's and both Williams cars also being knocked out, but Ricardo making it through the first through to Q2 for the first time this season. Just the second off the pace, Lando Norris topping Q1. Both Alfa Romeos making it through as well, so they're showing progress. But yeah, that is so frustrating being knocked out just by Pierre Gasly. He had managed to improve a little bit, but so we're going to be kind of out of position for where I wanted this car to be, but like I said, we have a better race car than we do a qualifying car. So let's jump straight into the Grand Prix and start making up these places.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters wearing red today, and they've all turned out for what we're expecting will be a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One tracks as it's taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit and its only DRS zone. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Bottas, Verstappen, Ocon, Stroll, Joe, Ricciardo, Taylor, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Albon, and Logan Sargent. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson alongside me, as always, to talk you through the action. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red mark soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before that degradation starts to set in.
Wise words there from Anthony Davidson, of course, an ex-Formula 1 driver. So, going to be interesting today to see where the strategy goes. We're going to stick with our normal strategy, just softs to mediums of what we would do around here, but it is going to start to rain at the end. So maybe it will have an effect and we'll have to change tires at the end. A lot of drivers starting on the mediums. The only person on hards right now is Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin, starting up in P7. Valtteri Bottas starting 10th, good effort from him. Of course, promoted up into 10th because Max Verstappen, big news, has a penalty and has dropped him down to 11th. So I believe he qualified on pole, but it dropped him down to 11th. Not exactly sure why he has a penalty, but I would assume it's for something that happened in qualifying, impeding or something. But so yeah, let's jump straight into the formation lap here, get a good start, and get locked in for the rest of the race.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
At the start, gotta be nice and careful that I don't hit our teammate.
So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
And as I was saying, don't want to have any contact or incidents with my teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Of course, car number 3 starting just in front of me, with the Haas behind, and Logan Sargent and Alex Albon line up at the back of the grid to complete the formation lap. Lights out and away we go here in Imola, and I'm just gonna get squeezed by Daniel Ricciardo and Joe Guan Yu, I think that is, in the Alfa Romeo, but up towards turn 1 now. I'm gonna brake a little bit early as there's a little bit of contact between me and the Alfa Romeo there, just barging his way through, and he is gonna be battling away with the Alpine, I think that is Esteban Ocon, so we get ahead of our teammate. And I thought about changing my internal combustion engine before this race, but I decided to keep it one race longer. Just that way I have a little more power for Monaco at the next race weekend. But maybe I'm just regretting that now a little bit. But we'll see how this engine compares to the other worn race engines, as I'm going to go a little wide up here down into Aqua Minerale, and I'm just going to force Gasly out wide, make sure he doesn't squeeze through on me. But up into P13 from P16, good start from ourselves, and ooh, I almost just sent it down there by accident, and I'm getting a very sloppy start through these corners here. Just losing the rear end a little bit as I head down into the final set of corners here. Gonna try to get a good exit onto the back straight, but I don't think I'll have enough to get past Joe. My box lap is lap 10 as we start the second lap of the Grand Prix here. But my box lap is lap 10 and I'm not looking to extend at all, so I'm just gonna push flat out from here and see if I will extend if I need to, but I'll most likely box on lap 10 and keep things nice and tidy, just as I want them, especially if the rain comes. I want to have that advantage. So the Alpine Pierre Gasly all over my gearbox here. He's just trying to get through, of course, running the mediums, and he's got a quicker car. Both Alpines kind of out of position, if I'm being completely honest, starting low down. And Joe is just pulling away from me, but the Constantino effect will help that. Just gotta keep it nice and tidy through Acqua Minerale and Variante Alta. That's where I'm losing most of my time, I think. And I don't want to become the Jarno Trulli of 2023. I don't want to start the Taylor train. The Trulli train, all aboard. Down into the final set of corners here. And Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race, but he doesn't lead. And here comes Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. That Renault power unit isn't as strong as the Red Bull, I don't think, but the aerodynamic advantage is a lot more significant, as our teammate Daniel Ricciardo just tries to squeeze by us there. And actually down the straight there, I just got up onto the curb, which kind of prevented me from going side by side with Gasly into turn 1, but I'm just going to try to manage my tires from here. It's a very, very demanding track, especially through the second sector. Like this corner here, you can't really make that mistake. You got to lift so that you don't get a penalty. Acqua Minerale. It's just our exits. It's the exit. I don't have enough traction on the exits, I feel like, in this car. But in time trial, I drive the Red Bull a lot, and I absolutely love the way the Red Bull handles and how quick it is, and just the fact that it's such a championship-worthy car, especially in the hands of Max Verstappen, the Dutchman, already wrapping up his 3rd title this season. Already establishing himself as one of the all-time greats of Formula 1, of course, but at this very moment, he does not lead this race. It is Charles Leclerc, I would assume, is leading the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here as we just start lap 4 of the race. And here comes our teammate Daniel Ricciardo. He's not going to go down and move the inside there, no. That would be far, far too risky from the Australian Honey Badger there. We're not really losing anything to the cars in front. The Constantina effect, I'm not sure what car that is that's holding up everybody, but it is very helpful to us. Looks like it might be Esteban Ocon in the Alpine as I go wide once again. I can't keep doing that. I'm lucky I haven't gotten a warning yet. Just bounce on the curbs on the exit there. Acqua Minerale is by far our strongest corner here. Variante Alta, you gotta take that line just perfectly. You gotta be completely focused through there, or else you might just drop it like Leclerc did in 2022. And I think that year was Ferrari's best hope of winning a championship, and they bottled it. I think Verstappen still would have won out in the end, but Leclerc would have taken it to at least one of the last 3 rounds if Ferrari hadn't screwed him over so many times. Because I'm not going to have DRS, but the 2 cars behind me fighting are, it's Daniel Ricciardo and Lance Stroll, just duking it out there for P15, and Stroll's gotten ahead of Ricciardo. Just trying to, I think I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here. Just try to stay with the cars in front of me. Here comes Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, and he's got significant aerodynamic advantage once again, as all the other cars do. Of course, having the worst aerodynamic and chassis departments in the field right now. Our team does. Stroll gets past me with that Aston Martin advantage, and I'm just going to try to stay with him, but I don't think I'll be able to. So I'm really losing my confidence right now in the car. And Magnussen also got past Daniel Ricciardo there on the mediums, so of course the soft's starting to wear out a little bit. I go wide once again, I have to stop. Or maybe I could continue since I'm not getting a penalty for it. I don't know if I'm losing time when I do that or if I'm not gaining anything, or I don't know what, but Stroll's just pulled out of that DRS gap. I'll see if I can hold it through here, through the Variante Alta. Looks like I can. I gained like 3/10 through that corner alone, so when you take it right, you can't really gain much through there, but you have a lot to lose if you get it wrong. And heading down now onto the main straight, only DRS zone in this track, of course. I'm not going to get as good of an exit, rear sliding around just a little bit. But crucially, I am going to have the DRS, while Stroll is not going to have the DRS on Pierre Gasly. So if I can hold this gap through the rest of this next lap, I could just be able to repass Lance Stroll. And I don't think our fight today will be for points unless we can judge the rain to perfection. Just trying to keep it nice and steady through there. That corner can be so scary when your tires are worn, and Kevin Magnussen now is just all over my gearbox. First drops of rain in the next few minutes, says the team. So I'm just gonna push now on these tires. I'm not sure if I should go onto mediums, if I should go onto softs, or if I should wait it out. These tires aren't gonna last that long though, so I need to make a decision now. So Magnussen's gonna try to go for a move into the very anti-alta, but I'm not gonna let him have it. I'm gonna slam the door. But that is gonna put us out of DRS range of Lance Stroll, and now I will probably get passed by Magnussen and Ricciardo down the main straight. But Magnussen is gonna try to get past before that. And if just a little bit of wheel banging there. I'm not sure if he has DRS or if I do. I believe he does. Yeah, he does.
Okay, we're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs.
Weather report.
Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So team not really telling me when the rain's coming, which means it's usually coming quick, because Kevin Magnussen in the Haas just gets past me there on the medium tire, and there's not really much I can do. So I'm just gonna try to outperform this car best I can, but right now it's not looking the best, as Magnussen's already pulled a second on me. Don't want to hold up Daniel at all, but if he's going to get past me,
Be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
he's going to have to work for it, as I'm not just going to let him by, since we're on the same strategy. If he is quicker, then he'll get past me. I've got the inside for the very anti-alta. Weather report.
Watch the conditions. We think there's rain coming pretty soon. Be careful. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
I'm not exactly sure if I should box or if I should. If I do box, it's going to be on the softs. Nobody's coming in yet, so who is going to be the first to blink here in Imola, as Hülkenberg and Ricciardo battling for 17th place. They're going side by side into turn 1. Will Hülkenberg get ahead of him by the time they get to the braking zone? No, they're going to go side by side. Daniel's going to have that inside line for turn 2. Daniel is just going to inch ahead of the Haas there. Of course, Nico Hülkenberg making his return to Formula 1 since 2019 with the Renault team, of course now rebranded as Alpine. But just trying to keep it steady once again. I know I keep saying that, but it's so difficult in a car as underdeveloped and unstable as this. And the tires aren't really helping anything either. I'm not exactly sure what to do right now. For the first time, I think, in a long time in a Formula 1 game, I do not know what to do. It's a very peculiar situation.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 3.0 seconds.
I can't really see if it's raining yet or not. No, it's not. So who's going to be the first to blink? Team's going to want me to pit at the end of the next lap. Weather report.
Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Very helpful.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
Sometimes the AI are dumb, and they pit softs, or they pit onto the next dry tire for their dry strategy, or their normal strategy, and then it starts to rain. Then they have to make a whole extra pit stop for intermediates. I don't want to do that. That would not make any sense. But it's very difficult. These tires are absolutely done for, as Hülkenberg did get past Ricciardo. I wasn't looking at that. But Magnussen not pulling away from me as much as he was, so down towards Acqua Minerale. trying to see if anybody is going to blink first, as there's a Red Bull in the lead. And I would assume that is Sergio Perez. Yes, Sergio Perez, but Max Verstappen making it up to 6th. Carlos Sainz is 2nd, then we've got Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, and then Charles Leclerc and the other Ferrari, starting on pole, of course, so. Variante Alta. Still nobody coming into pit, so.
Okay, listen, don't worry about it, mate. It can happen to the best of us. Now look, I've put a new strategy option for you in the MFD, so go and have a look.
What are you talking about? So the team want me to pit for intermediates at the end of this lap, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Don't want to get a penalty for speeding, and that was oh so close. And I think Ricardo's staying out, so no double stack here at AlphaTauri. But now this could turn this race, flip it on its head.
Okay, off we go, back into the race.
I'm just going to turn my brake bias down there.
We're delighted with that.
And now it's really coming down as DRS is disabled this lap, excuse me. There's Magnussen.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
I think we had a quicker stop than Magnussen because now we're a lot closer to him than we were when we entered the pits. But now, if I can just gain a lot of time here, look at how slowly the dry tires are now. If you look at the front of the field there, if I can just make this, it's really coming down now, but I can need to get a fast lap in here, and I could just get past a few of these cars once they come in to stop.
Disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
Especially since there'll be chaos, other cars having to wait for some double stacking cars to come out and whatnot, so I'm just going to deploy a lot of energy. Brake bias is down as low as it can go for this rain. Just bumping over the curves there. So I need to get a great exit out of this corner and onto the main straight if I want to make up any places, as that was not the best way to take that corner. Now Daniel's coming in for a stop. Of course, going on to intermediate tires, I would hope. It's down into the final corner. So we start lap 12. Just gonna power all the way down the main straight. And I don't know if I'm gonna get past anybody. Sargent and Ricardo boxing. So I'm up into 15th now, but hopefully this Constantina effect ahead, especially in the rain, will help me catch up to these cars and maybe make some wet weather bold moves if I can. As I have no pace in this AlphaTauri, and it's starting to get a little bit frustrating. Look at how much time I've lost to Kevin Magnussen and Zhou Guanyu in front of me. I thought the Constantining in the rain would help me, but apparently not, as I've got Alex Albon all on my gearbox, and I'm about done with this. Now I understand why some of these drivers get so frustrated in a slow car. So here comes Alex Albon. Is he gonna go for a move? Oh, I thought he looked like he was trying to dip the nose in there. And that could have been catastrophic if he would have gone through with that move, but 5 seconds now, 5.1 to the car in front of me now, and it looks like making up any more positions is not possible as I go off the track and I lose a place.
Okay, we lost the position. Trying to keep focused.
To Alex Albon there, and I have Nico Hülkenberg behind me. Nico Hülkenberg all over my gearbox, just as Alex Albon was last lap, but I'm going to try to not make any more mistakes, excuse me. Still got 8 laps to go of this race. Starting to settle into a very boring race. Hülkenberg, the straight line speed difference is insanity. I mean, like aerodynamics too. Like through the everywhere we're slow. Through the corners, down the straights, felt nice, but I guess it's not as good as I thought it was. So here comes Hülkenberg. He's gonna try to have the inside line for turn 1, which he can have because that would give me the inside for turn 2. So we're gonna go side by side down in the first turn, and I'm just gonna try to stay ahead of the Haas car there, as I gave him a little more room than I feel I should have, but I'm going to go for a dangerous move around the outside of these corners here in the wet, and that was a very, very nice move for myself, if I do say. Just to stay ahead of the Haas car, but I go wide here, just as Lewis Hamilton did in 2021, and Hülkenberg has gotten past me. So let's take a look at Nico Hülkenberg here. He goes, looks like he was trying to line up for a move, and then I just go wide here. Of course, all that standing water in my way, and then he just slams the door and makes sure I can't get back past him. As this is just really starting to feel like Nick DeVries Simulator, and this is really annoying, but it something happened with the recording again, and what happened was Charles Leclerc, poleman for Ferrari, one of their 2 home races, retired, and there was a virtual safety car, and I got up to 7/10. I got up to 7/10 to Ricardo, and then he just started pulling away after the restart. So right now I'm just trying to, you know, keep it on the black stuff and not spin, and
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
go to the end of this race, as we have 2 and a bit laps to go here as we enter the last few laps of this race. I'm just trying to, as I said, keep it on the black stuff and keep going till the end. I've also just noticed Lewis Hamilton is down to 10th position, dropped. I was looking at the pit stops. So Russell came in a lap after I did, when it was the optimal time to box for the intermediates, and
Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please.
I think it was
4.1 seconds.
I think it was lap 10 that I came in, and they all came in on their lap 11. But Hamilton had to stay out an extra lap so that he didn't have to double stack with George Russell. So he boxed at the end of lap 12. So that's why he's so out of position, because he had to do a whole extra lap on those dry tires. Absolutely horrendous to drive on in these conditions. But right now, Sergio...
Okay, you just started the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Thank you, Mark. Sergio Perez leads the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here on the final lap from Carlos Sainz, and Max Verstappen made his way up to 3rd. Then George Russell in the Mercedes is in 4th, followed by Lando Norris in the McLaren in 5th, and then Fernando Alonso, great effort from him in that tractor Aston Martin right now, in 7th. And then in 8th we have Valtteri Bottas, as Checo wins this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix of 2023. Checo, for whatever reason, especially in F121, he's always been phenomenal around this track. Carlos Sainz takes P2 for Ferrari, and Verstappen, working his way up from P11, of course, finishes 3rd. I think the most unrealistic part is that he didn't win by 20 seconds. 4th place goes to George Russell, who's just behind the lapped Alpine of Esteban Ocon. And then Lando Norris in 5th. 6th, Alonso. 7th goes to Bottas, so great points for Alfa Romeo, and this is definitely a race to forget for us as we come home P17.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Horrible result, and by far worst race of the season, so far at least. Max Verstappen, driver of the day.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
Great result there for Red Bull. Checo Perez bringing home the win. And celebrations for Red Bull, but more for Ferrari. Not for Charles Leclerc, but for Carlos Sainz. Coming home to take a brilliant second place to fend off Max Verstappen in challenging conditions.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Well, not the result our points leader would have wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Well, there was a lot of incredible driving out there today, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic driving.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good results moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So great result for the Red Bull team, but as Crofty said, Valtteri Bottas is great with that finish there in P7, I believe, scoring him 6 points for the Alfa Romeo team, pushing him up to 12th in the standings and pushing Alfa Romeo up to 7th, so ahead of ourselves, which moves us down to 8th. Myself now in 13th in the championship, and Daniel in 19th, just ahead of Williams' Logan Sargent. In terms of the championship, Verstappen now has his championship lead knocked down a little bit as Checo is just closing in on him with 6 points. But will he be able to keep that form and challenge the three-time world champion for, well, I guess a two-time champion since this is the start of 23, but whatever you want to call it, will he be able to challenge Max Verstappen, championship caliber driver, in a title battle in the space of a season? Carlos Sainz is in 3rd place for Ferrari, followed by Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris in McLaren in 5th, ahead of the 2 Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Then comes Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, who had a dreaded result today, finishing a lap down. Oscar Piastri in 10th with 13 points. Stroll with 13 points in 11th. And then Valtteri Bottas, as I mentioned, getting those 6 points today for the Alfa Romeo team. And I just want to go back and see what happened to Esteban Ocon. So when he came into box for the intermediate tires, okay. Well, he was running in the points, and for whatever reason, he's just sat here waiting on the mechanics. I'm just gonna fast forward here to what is going on with the Alpine pit crew. It didn't even change his tires. Still on the medium tires, with Hulkenberg just going through turn 1. So then at the end of the next lap, I assume, yes, he comes into pit, and then they do his stop, which was slow, might I add. And that would explain why he was so far down. And Hamilton, of course, coming in at the end of this lap as well to box for these tires, and that's why he was so far down. It pushed him down to 11th place, 12th actually, and he managed to get past Pierre Gasly and Oscar Piastri to finish in the points there, just showing why he is a 7-time champion of the world. But that was a bizarre incident regarding Esteban Ocon. I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but it did. But it happened in Australia too with his teammate Pierre Gasly. So I guess Alpine need to get that figured out. But celebrations then for Red Bull, as I said, but This was an absolutely awful and dreaded weekend. I was really hoping it wouldn't go like this, but it did. And, you know, as people so often say, that's racing. So, at the end of the day, we're just going to keep pushing, and I'll see you guys in the next round in Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and hit that bell if you want to see more of this. And I might be starting an F1 manager career soon. Oh, Lewis Hamilton there, taking the fastest lap of the race. I didn't notice that, so 2 more points for him. So 14 points for Mercedes in total this weekend, but it could have been a lot more. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So I'll see you guys in the next video for the next round at the Monaco Grand Prix for hopefully a much, much better result than what we saw here.